Your alarm goes off at 6:30. You didn't sleep well. You never sleep well. You shower, you dress, you commute to a building where you sit in a chair for 8 consecutive hours, doing things you will not remember by Friday. Then you go home, eat, scroll your phone until your eyes burn, and do it again. 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, for roughly 40 years, and somewhere in the middle of all of it, a thought you can't quite shake. This doesn't feel right. Not the job specifically, the structure, the entire shape of it. That feeling is not weakness, it's not a bad attitude. It's your biology screaming at you from 300,000 years ago. And there's a reason nobody told you about it. Here is what you were taught. Work is natural. Humans have always worked hard. The people who came before you had it worse. You should be grateful for your air-conditioned office and your ergonomic chair and your 15-minute lunch break. There's just one problem with that story. It is almost entirely wrong. In 1966, an anthropologist named Marshall Sahlins presented research that should have changed everything. He had spent years studying groups like the Kungsan people of the Kalahari Desert, one of the last human societies still living close to how all humans lived for hundreds of thousands of years. What he found was this. They worked between 15 and 20 hours per week, not per day, per week. The rest of the time they rested. They talked. They played with their children. They did nothing at all, and they were fine with it. Sahlins called them the original Affluent society, not because they had more things, because they had more time. And time, it turns out, is what your brain was actually designed to have. Let's be specific about what ancient work actually looked like, because the difference is not just fewer hours. The entire structure was different. In 1982, anthropologist James Woodburn published a paper that drew a line through all of human economic history. He divided every human society into 2 types: immediate return economies and delayed return economies. In an immediate return economy, you work and you see the result right now. You hunt an animal, you eat that evening. You gather berries, your children's stomachs are full within the hour. You build a shelter, you sleep in it tonight. Every action had a visible, tangible, immediate outcome. Your brain loved this. It was designed for this. The dopamine system, the reward circuitry that motivates you to do anything at all, evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to respond to exactly this pattern: effort, then reward. Immediately. Then, roughly 10,000 years ago, agriculture happened, and with it came the delayed return economy. You plant a seed. You will not eat for 4 months. You build a wall. The city it protects won't exist for years. You work a job. You will be paid in 2 weeks, maybe. If the system processes it correctly, Woodburn's insight was devastating in its simplicity. For 300,000 years, the human brain operated on instant feedback. Then, in a geological blink, we switched to a system where the reward is invisible, abstract, and delayed by weeks, months, sometimes decades. Your brain did not adapt. It had no time to. 10,000 years is nothing in evolutionary terms, but the mismatch goes deeper than just rewards. It's physical. Robert Sapolsky, a neuroendocrinologist at Stanford, spent over 30 years studying stress in primates. His research showed something that should terrify anyone with a desk job. The stress response, cortisol, adrenaline, elevated heart rate, evolved for short, intense physical threats. A predator appears. Your body floods with chemicals. You fight or you run. The threat passes. The chemicals drain. Your body recovers. The entire system was designed for bursts. Minutes of intensity followed by hours of calm. That was the rhythm your body expected. That was the rhythm it got for 300,000 years. Now look at your Monday. The alarm is stress. The commute is stress. The emails are stress. The meeting is stress. The deadline is stress. The commute home is stress. And none of it is followed by recovery. None of it ends with the predator gone. The predator is never gone. It just has a different subject line. Sapolsky's conclusion was blunt. The human body was not designed for chronic, low-grade, unrelenting stress. It was designed for emergencies. What we've built is a world of permanent emergency, and the body is paying for it in ways we're only beginning to measure. But here's what makes the 9 to 5 specifically brutal. It's not just that we work too long, it's that we work too continuously. Anders Ericsson, the psychologist whose research was famously simplified into the 10,000-hour rule, actually found something most people missed. Even elite performers, concert pianists, chess grandmasters, Olympic athletes, can only sustain roughly 4 hours of deep, focused cognitive work per day. 4 hours. After that, the brain's ability to concentrate degrades measurably, regardless of willpower, coffee, or motivation. You are being asked to do 8, sometimes 10, sometimes 12, and then feel guilty when you can't focus at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday. That's not a discipline problem. That's physics. Here's what nobody tells you when you start your first job. The 8-hour workday was not designed around human biology. It was designed around factory machinery. In 1817, a Welsh factory owner named Robert Owen coined a slogan: 8 hours labor, 8 hours recreation, 8 hours rest. It wasn't science, it was negotiation. Before Owen, factory shifts were 14, sometimes 16 hours. 8 was the compromise. The machines could run 24 hours, split between 3 shifts. Humans were scheduled around the equipment, not the other way around. Over a century later, Henry Ford adopted the 5-day work week in 1926. Not because his workers needed rest, because he discovered they bought more things when they had weekends. The modern work schedule was built around factory efficiency and consumer spending, not around what the human brain needs to function. Not around 300 zillion years of evolutionary wiring. Around metal and money. And yet, when you feel exhausted at hour 6, when you can't think clearly after lunch, when Sunday evening fills you with a dread you can't explain, you assume the problem is you. It isn't your ancestors worked when the sun was right and the food was near. They rested when their bodies told them to. They sprinted when the threat demanded it, and they stopped when it passed. Every signal matched. Effort and rest. Danger and safety. Work and reward. All of it immediate. All of it legible. All of it human. Then we built a world where the lights never turn off, where the work never ends, where the signals never match. And we gave ourselves 8 hours a day inside it, designed around a machine that doesn't sleep, and we called it normal. The next time you feel broken at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday, unable to focus, unable to care, unable to pretend this is fine, remember that your brain is running software that is 300,000 years old on hardware that was never built for this. You're not failing the system. The system was never built for you.